Now, just a quick review of the parabola, because the first question, we are going to look at a parabola. We have a vertical parabola and horizontal parabola. Just to review the standard form of parabolas. Okay, so this is a vertical. And again, okay, this there should be a little voice to help yourself to argue that why is this a vertical parabola? Because y is equal to x squared. When x is square, that's when you have a vertical parabola. You knew this since algebra 1. So this is vertical. And horizontal, it's going to be y minus k and then squared 4p x minus h. This morning, I got a student asking me, would the second parentheses be squared? And I said, of course not. Because when you did your parabola back in algebra 1, it's y equal to x squared. Only one of the two variables got squared, not both. All right, now, and my sincere advice for you for this topic is that make sure that you're reading it. Okay, you're understanding this with context. Do not read this like a robot. Do not look at the numbers and only think about where do I put the number into the equation. Okay, please don't do that. Okay, make sure you're understanding this and you're understanding the meaning. Okay, so it sets an arch has the shape of a parabola with the vertex at the top of the and the axis vertical. If the arch is 24 feet wide and the base at the base and 18 feet high at the center, how wide is the arch at a 0.5 feet above the base? So let's go ahead and draw a parabola first. Well, let me draw a better one. Like this, okay? Now, my first challenge for you is that for this parabola, there are 3 points. 3 very important points, the x-intercepts and the y-intercept. Can you go ahead and label the points with the coordinate pairs? Okay, can you label, based on the meaning of the question, can you label these 3 points? So what would be the coordinate of the top point? So based on the question, it should be 0, 18. Very good, because the highest point. And that's a vertex. And well, that's a good information because we can use it to write our parabola equation. And the base, 2 points. The right point must be something, 0. What is that x coordinate? 12. Okay, it's not 24, but 12, because the base is 24 feet wide. That means it will be 12 and 12. Okay, and we do this because it allows us to make an equation a lot easier. If you challenge the question and say, well, can I draw a diagram slightly shifted to the right? Sure, if you want to. That just makes the question a little bit more difficult, but it will not give you the wrong equation. Okay, do the same thing afterwards. All right, so we want to know how wide is the arch at a point 5 feet above the base. So 5 feet above the base. So let's just say this is 5. So at 5 feet above the base, how wide is it? Okay, 5 feet above the base, how wide is it? So now, what is the question then? Okay, how are we going to find some useful information to find out how wide it is? Well, how about this? Okay, I'll come back to this question. Let's do something real quick. well, can we get the equation of the parabola? Well, we have the vertex, at least we can start working on it. So we have x minus 0 squared equals to 4p and then y minus 18. So we can at least write down something. So we have x squared and then 4p and then y minus 18. And we say, well, if you want to get the equation of the parabola, you got to know the p-value. But what's the p-value though? Yeah, you have to plug it in and solve. Now, it might be tempting for you to think about the origin being something special. Okay, like the worst thing that could happen is that some people might think about the origin as the focus. No, nobody said anything about focus from this question. So the only way we can do to find out the vertex, find out the p, it's by substituting some x and y values into the equation. Well, what can we substitute into? Well, this is an equation, right? So if you put a point on this line into the equation, you can find out the p-value. So you can do 12 squared, and then 4 times p, and then 0 minus 18. So basically, you are just putting in the 12 comma 0 into the x and y, and by then you can find out the p-value. So you have 144, and then 4p times negative 18. So negative 18 times 4, it's negative 72. So you have 144, it's equal to negative 72p. So p is equal to negative 2. So now you've got your p-value, which is very happy, very good. And now we can write down our actual equation for the parabola. 4 times p, which will be negative 8. Okay, so this would be the standard form equation for the parabola. But that's just halfway through our process. Again, now we have the equation. Wonderful. But how can we find out the width of the arch at the height of 5? Huh? Louder. Put in 5 for y because? Well, if you can find out this point, and let's just imagine, right? If the x value here is 10, what's the width? 20, right? Because you know, 10 would be the distance from the y-axis to that point. That's 10. So the whole width would be 20. So if we know the x value, hey, we know the width. So that's why we will substitute the y, 5, into the y value and try to solve for x. So we say, oh, so x squared is equal to 104. So x is equal to, now, we will give you a calculator so you do this, okay? So, the actual x is going to be 10.198. Okay, if you put in a calculator, that's what you get. But that's the x value. The actual width is 2 times 10.198 feet, which gives you 20.396 feet. Okay. Now, this is what I mean by you knowing how to handle the information with the contextual understanding. You've got number 24. You don't see 24 on the diagram. It's actually 12 and 12 because the meaning is 24 feet wide. Okay, you found out the x value, that's 10.198, but that's not the answer because we are talking about the entire width. That will be twice the distance. So that's why we have to multiply by 2. So all these actions are done based on the meaning. Okay, of the problem. Okay.